And now we are joined by Dr. Ayman Ghoneim, legal and economic expert. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you, madam.
So, sir, the General Authority for the Suez Canal Economic Zone achieved its highest revenues in its history since its establishment, recording approximately 15.9 billion Egyptian pounds during the 2025-2026 fiscal year. How do you read this report?
Well, actually, the Suez Canal Economic Zone achieved, as you mentioned, 15.9 billion Egyptian pounds in the fiscal year 25-26. That's compared to 10.5 billion Egyptian pounds budgeted for the year. And also they achieved a 37% year-to-year growth as compared to the revenues in the previous year, which were 11.6 billion Egyptian pounds.
Yes.
And if we want to know the reason here, the reason is not only one reason. Actually, it's the enhancement that happened in the whole business model of the Suez Canal Economic Zone. First, we have to understand that there is a higher than usual and expected cargo throughput. And this is following the major investment that took place in the infrastructure of the Egyptian ports, especially those of the Suez Canal Economic Zone, the 6 ports that we have, starting from Adabiya and Sokhna in southern Suez Bay, and El Tor in southern Sinai, then East and West Port Said ports, and Arish port in northern Sinai. The second reason, of course, would be the observed increase in the revenues from the industrial and the leasehold revenues, the land allocation, the licensing, and the investor services. We also witnessed rapid growth in the value-added logistics services and activities. This includes warehousing, integrated supply chain services, and the like. Finally, we have a growing number of manufacturing projects in Suez Canal Economic Zone, and this generated additional service income and administrative income. So the key message here is that the Suez Canal Economic Zone is no longer relying solely on ships passing through the canal. It's now increasing its integrated value addition and its overall logistic services in order to transform into becoming the logistic hub of the Middle East.
So, Dr. Ayman, to what extent the Suez Canal Economic Zone is attractive to investors?
Well, actually, the Suez Canal Economic Zone has a lot of competitive advantages, if I might say. Some of them are natural competitive advantages due to the geopolitical location of Egypt, because, you know, the goods and commodities that are produced and exported from Southeast Asia, they incur a lot of risks and a lot of expenses for transporting from the Indian Ocean to the Arabian Sea, and then Bab el-Mandeb Straits, and then the Red Sea, until they reach Suez Canal, and then they are exported to Southern Europe and the US. All these costs and risks are deducted from the goods and services produced in Suez Canal Economic Zone. But the Egyptian state, under the leadership of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, had to construct major infrastructural transformation of the area in order to allow it to exploit its competitive advantages. As we mentioned, we increased the efficiency of the 6 ports. We established 4 economic and industrial zones. And the whole of Egypt now has undergone a massive reconstruction phase in order to transform from historically being a rentier economy into becoming an export-based, a production-based and service-based economy. Of course, such huge infrastructural enhancements in the whole of the country created a lot of synergy with Suez Canal Economic Zone and contributed to its growth.
Yes, sir, long-term agreements were signed with international industrial developers, automotive manufacturers, green hydrogen consortia. All have provided a steady stream of foreign capital. How do you see the importance of these agreements?
Well, yes, of course. There are a lot of economic alliances that Egypt has undergone during the previous few years under the leadership of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. Actually, the economic diplomacy of Egypt was so active and so vibrant, creating or elevating the partnerships with the European Union, for instance, into strategic partnership, and also with a lot of the countries of the European Union. We have strong and stable relationships with the Western powers, the United States, Western Europe, Britain, and also the Eastern powers represented by the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, and China. If you look at the growth of the Suez Canal Economic Zone, you will find that Egypt made a good use of such economic alliances. The revenues increased sixfold actually from the year 2016-2017, when they achieved 2.8 billion Egyptian pound to, as you mentioned, 15.9 billion Egyptian pound in 25-26. We expect such growth trajectory, I might call it, to continue in the future, but of course not in the same pace. It may be in a more moderate pace due to the so-called base year effect and the expansion. But overall, the Suez Canal Economic Zone, with these achievements, is expected to become the flagship of industrial investment in Egypt and logistic investment in Egypt and the whole Middle East, at least in the coming 2 decades, with the saturation, of course, of the other logistical hubs in the Middle East.
So, sir, also there are many development projects taking place in this area, like also developing the city of Al Galala and making many projects in this area. To what extent this also will serve the Suez Canal Zone?
Well, actually, Suez Canal Zone is trying to increase the synergy that I talked about. Different projects in the same place, they improve each other, they help each other.
Yes.
We have strong contributions from cargo handling, cargo operations, dry and bulk cargo handling, as I said, vessel maintenance and vessel services, storage and warehousing, of course, is highly promising industry there, especially cold stores, logistical parks, customs facilitation, value-added logistics services, as well as the industrial projects that are targeted there in the 4 industrial areas. We're targeting industries like textiles, ready-made garments, automotives. We're also targeting cables, industrial or engineering industries like cables and electronics and computers, information technology and software. So there is a wide array of services and wide array of industries that are targeted there. And we have a lot of success stories, including TIDA Economic Zone built by China, the Indian Economic Zone, and also Egypt has expressed its willingness to host other industrial and economic zones for the US, Europe, and other countries.
So, sir, what other services needed to encourage investments in this area?
Well, actually, we're targeting a lot of industries and a lot of services. But generally speaking, the success of this area, I would call, depend on many factors. First of all, the industry occupancy rates. We need to increase the number of factories. We need to have an annual target for the number and volume of factories. Second, we need to expand the integrated logistical services provided in this area. Beyond the simple cargo handling, we want to increase it to distribution, cold stores, repair and maintenance, supply chain management. Third and most importantly, this area has to be integrated into the Egyptian broad industrial strategy, and this includes the expansion in the priority industries, including green hydrogen, electric vehicles, pharmaceuticals, renewable energy components, and other advanced manufacturing industries.
Yes.
Therefore, the key word here is more integration, more synergies, investing in infrastructure, and increasing the benefits and increasing the investments, enhancing the investments, or enhancing the incentives to the foreign investors.
Yes, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Ayman Ghoneim, a legal and economic expert. Thank you, sir, for being with us.